Good evening, and I really came because this is something that's close to my heart. And I jokingly say we run a media company, so we are a social enterprise. The people who are gathered in this room, who are driving social enterprises, who are really doing something that is needed in the country. I was introduced to this about 2 years back. I write a column in the Entrepreneur magazine on entrepreneurship, and a friend of mine who went to the Columbia Business School and the London Business School, and his wife also went, became the MD of the Grassroots Business Fund. His name is Pranav Nahar. His wife runs as Ishani. And he said, Anurag, why don't you write an article on social enterprises? I said, Pranav, you got to tell me more. And that's when he, over a meal, told me. And, I was pleasantly surprised that so much work is happening in this domain. And he talked to me about the institutions and the individuals. At least we talked to 10, 12 individuals in the institutions that are working in this domain. And I really like you guys are experts at it. Really, I could learn a lot from you. But I just like to say two things to you. One is, I as an entrepreneur, I turned an entrepreneur 14 and a half years back and started the Exchange for Media Group. And we just acquired Business World last year. Really, we want to create wealth, but I term that wealth as selfish wealth. I call it sampati. I think people in the social entrepreneurship space are creating what I call shared wealth, which I call sampatha. I think I wish we didn't have to have a law for CSR. What kind of country we have that we have to have a law for CSR in our country? Where everywhere in the world, businesses are becoming a force for good. Here, we are saying we will only do 3% good. That means the rest 97% we don't do good. So I hope we have more people like you who can contribute to the growth of this country in a meaningful manner and by sharing the wealth. And second thing, when I started, of course we didn't know enough about social enterprise. But, the thought was always first to do something, achieve something, and then give back. I think I mentor a lot of startups. I do angel investing. I meet enough startups, young people, 20-year-olds, 21-year-olds, who want to give and then achieve something. To me, when it started happening 1.5, 2 years back, it was kind of a difficult notion to digest. I didn't know if these young people for real. But over a period of time, I realized that these people really want to give first. I think that's the mission that they put first. The real achievement for them is being successful in a social enterprise. And these were the two things I want to say. I want to compliment all of you that you're doing something that will go into nation building. But I also want to give you two cautionary notes. Like all of you, I read the international magazines articles on Indian NGOs. I was very, very worried to read that article. I always look down on NGOs because I know too many people who in the garb of NGOs run commercial organizations. And really, I think even social enterprise need to be self-sustainable. Only if you are self-sustainable can you give something to someone. And the second thing is, I think I have a friend, he's not here. In fact, I called Amit on Sunday and I recommended two people once I saw the agenda. I wish he was here. His name is Ajay Chaturvedi. And Ajay runs an organization called Harva. How many of you heard of Harva? Right? Ajay, when I have to introduce Ajay to people, Ajay Chaturvedi is his name. I say, have you watched this movie called Swadesh? Have you watched the movie Swadesh? So I say, what Shah Rukh Khan was doing in the movie, he's doing in his real life. Because really he's trying to empower villages. He's creating social enterprise at, again, bottom of the pyramid is a very abused term, but he's really working at the grassroots in the villages of Haryana, in the villages of Rajasthan to create an ecosystem. I wish there were more Ajay Chaturvedis. And I wrote an article in entrepreneurship. I basically wrote an article about young entrepreneurs who get lots of awards but rarely build anything. And I sent it to Ajay, and Ajay, of course, gave me a lecture on that. But people like Ajay are really the future for this country. And I can go on naming 3-4 people I have personally come across who are really doing great work in this domain. There's a young Sardar boy I know. His name is Ashish Birgi. He's 21, and I wrote an article on reverse mentoring. I wrote an article because I get to know so many things from him, because I'm too worried about how much is the circulation this month, how much money did we bill, did we lose that story or not, how much we will bill on events. I'm not really in touch with what's happening in the country beyond what I see. I'm always answering emails. I think I keep saying, even when I'm dying, I'll tell, can I answer 2 more emails before I die? That'll be my last wish. I think I'm happy that Business World has partnered Professor Kapoor and the Institute of Competitiveness in doing a social enterprise summit, because this is a domain that needs to be talked about. The heroes and the leaders of the social enterprise movement need to be brought to force so that more people can be inspired and do work. So thank you for doing this great work. And I hope as we go along as Business World and Institute of Competitiveness, we can celebrate your journey and we can contribute to your journey. Thank you.